It is worth the drive. Eric, I heard Maz teeing you up on this on Wednesday. $25,000 off remaining 2024 inventory. And he said you would look good in a 2024 heavy duty. Are you a heavy duty kind of diesel, maybe like a big truck guy, or are you a sports car guy?
No,
SUV.
No, I'm an SUV guy. It's for 30 years, all I've driven SUV. I have this notion that one day, I do feel like as an Albertan, like a very proud Albertan, I should own a pickup truck, even if for just 6 months or something, just to stay out and feel the power and be that ass that tailgates everybody in a snowstorm. Like, I just want to be that guy so bad. I want to take up double parking spots. I want to do all that stuff, but I haven't had a chance yet. So I'm hoping one day.
And let it idle for hours. Just leave it running all night. Yeah, it is Eric Francis. Save up to $19,000 off right now on 2024 heavy duties. Plus, they have Jeep Compasses starting at $34,945. Okay, Colson, what are you going to say? Something? Sorry, Eric.
Okay, I have a question for you about pickup trucks, because when I was at the Circle K hockey tournament the other day, it's because it's so popular. It's like a thing in Calgary. Getting a parking spot at that tournament is like found money. I realized, and I've been here 30 years, every single pickup truck backs into a spot. Is that a thing? Is that like, because I never back into a parking spot ever, but I guess it makes sense for the easy getaway. Is that a thing when you have a pickup truck? Because like it was all pickup trucks and they were all backed into their spots. I'm like, is this a thing that I never really noticed before?
I think it's easier to park when you back it. For me, with my wife drives the big SUV. I drive the Acadian. Like, it's easier to back in.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you boys in on a secret.
Oh, here we go.
Here's the story. Here's why you back it in. Because when you're parking into spots, it's tight. So when you open your driver's side door, you're tight to the other driver door. So when you park the other way in, you've got more room to swing out your door, and it's easier to get in and out of.
Fantastic.
Veteran.
God, truck drivers are smarter than I thought. That's amazing.
Yes, we are.
Okay, we start. Colson did some fast work here, and we are going to start. We're going to throw you a little bit curve. Have you seen this dirty cross check in the senior game in Saskatchewan this week, Eric?
No, but you want to show it to me? Can you guys show it to me or no?
We're sure. If you're watching the video, if you're watching the stream, okay. So this is the long one. Okay, so Buddy's going to take a boarding penalty right here. Watch, boom, bad. Okay, not that bad. Okay, play goes up the ice. Schnippel's going to put it on net. Good save. Oh, and then boom. You might have to rewind it. You're watching at center ice. You might have missed it.
Yeah, I saw it. That is.
I can't believe the guy got up.
So what's the? I guess.
Oh, we lost him. We'll get him right back though. He's going to ask, "What's the punishment?" We're going to ask what the punishment was. You cut out.
Like,
or what kind of truck does he drive?
In a senior league. What?
We're going to ask what the punishment was or what kind of truck he drives.
He's clearly a truck driver, that guy. No question about it. But I mean, like, it's a senior league, so I guess it all just happened. We're going to go through it. But criminal charges pending or what?
I don't know that for sure. Harry's thinking there could be. Would it be a lot to go through criminal charges on that, Harry?
No, it ultimately depends on the guy who's the victim. I mean, they're not going to lay charges without him wanting to do it. So it basically rests on him. So if he wants to explore it, then they'll investigate it and go from there. But if he doesn't want it, then it's done already. And it's up to the league to suspend him however they want. Let's
go down this rabbit hole. What's the dirtiest NHL one that you guys both remember? Eric, first to you.
McSorley. Got to be McSorley on Brashear.
I'm interviewing him on Friday. I'm not going to touch on that at the hockey day in Saskatchewan.
I'm going to go Claude Lemieux on Chris Draper. like I don't know, guys. There's been a ton of them over the years, but I just saw that there was a documentary out. I just happened to see it again and recently, and it just reminds you because it was so. I think the term that has to be involved, if you're going to call it the dirtiest, is predatory. Like, and given the situation and given the hatred between the two teams and given the history leading up to that hit, there was no question in the world that it was 100% predatory, premeditated, and then they followed through with a hit as damaging as we've seen. So I also think, and I don't know where this is in the courts right now, but that guy who died in England when that skate sliced him in the neck, I was so glad that criminal charges were laid on that guy. And that guy's got a long history of being a reckless player. And I don't know where that's at. And I think it's going to be awfully hard to prosecute him, for manslaughter. But that was not a natural play to have your skate up that high on a play like that. No. I'm sure you guys have seen that. That warranted charges to me.
What did you think on that one? Heard that one? I go the other way on it. I didn't know if it was the speed of the game and how everything was going.
I feel like I feel like you can. The intent is tangible. I think you can almost feel that you can see that there's some intention behind it, and that what the result of that's going to be. I don't think it's a hockey play. I don't think it's a happenstance thing. I don't think it's a knee-jerk reaction. I think you can just kind of see the intent there.
Well, and I'm going to stop saying, like, obviously when you said you could see what the result was going to be. I mean, no one in the world could have ever fathomed that a guy would die. On a hit like that. But it was reckless, and it was a wanton disregard for the safety of others. And obviously nobody saw that coming. But I didn't like it at all. I think his history plays a lot in that too.
So you went,
and he drives a truck. He drives a truck too, that
guy. just the little one though, with the little. Remember the little smaller truck with it wasn't even an extended cab, and then the seat was sideways. You had to sit like sideways. It was like a thing for a while. I was like, what are we doing?
It would have been like a Euro truck.
Yeah. The Brashear or McSorley on Brashear, that one still gives me the heebie-jeebies a bit. Just how he falls back.
And then the other podium would be Bertuzzi and Moore. There's your three. That's your three of shows our age a little bit.
Three medalists.
That's your three. Your bronze, your silver, and your gold.
Well, guys, in retrospect, we look back at some of the hits, for example, that Paul Kariya took that ended his career. Like, you talk about predatory, you talk about a wanton disregard for a human safety. That was prevalent in the 80s and into the 90s. So the game has cleaned up a lot, and I'm thankful that it has. Now that I have a 14-year-old son, like I wouldn't want my kids seeing that crap today. And I'm sure, don't get me wrong, if my kid sees it on YouTube or probably has already, look at what happened with this guy named Scott Stevens in the past. My son just asked me the other day, who's the biggest hitter in the history of the game? And I said, Scott Stevens, like, without even batting an eye. But what he did wouldn't be tolerated in today's NHL. Plus, he'd have to fight after every single hit, which is no good anyway.
What's your son's name?
Cole.
You have to show him pound for pound though. Darius Kasparaitis, hitter. As far as hard hits go.
Yes.
So we're getting some texts coming in here fast and furious. Jay says Matt Cook on Mark Savard. That one. I
know another one. The Gary Suter cross check.
Gary Suter cross check
on, I can't remember who it was on, at the side of the net there when he was in San Jose.
Yeah,
that was brutal.
That was a big one because it also knocked him out of the Olympics, I think, that guy. Who was that?
Was it?
I can't remember.
What is it? Gary Suter cross check?
Yeah, I think it's. I thought it was Korea.
Google it. Might be Korea. It was somebody who got knocked out of the Olympics because of it.
It was Korea, 97, 98.
Yeah.
Man,
That's another
bad
one.
jerseys.
Honorable mention.
We got Ray said Sergei Momesso swinging a stick at Joey Kosher. Okay, Colson did some fancy footwork here. It's called stalling. This is the one that I always remember for a cheap shot, and it's a hidden gem. Let me know if you guys remember this one. Colson, play it.
Churla again. This time he's bumped by Babbitt.
Oh, yeah.
Running, spins McPhee.
Hard but clean body
Pavel
check. Just took a
Bure
check from Babbage.
on Shane
Look at this,
Churla
elbow right
with
to
one
the
of the
head.
dirtiest elbows ever. Churla was all over him in that game. If you're watching the stream, this is why you got to watch the stream. You get a little video content too. Bonus time. That was one of the dirtiest elbows. But then once in a while I'll get caught going down the, ESPN classics, and they'll show some old, like the Oilers, Islanders.
Who's the one, Eric? You'll know the answer to this. Who's the Oiler that hit Rick Natras with that elbow in the playoffs? Was it Messier?
Yes.
Yeah, Messier and
Absolutely
to this day,
annihilated.
They still hate each other. I talked to Jim Pablinski recently about it, and he just said, like, I'll never talk to Mark Messier. Like, that crossed the line. And back in those days, everything crossed the line as far as I'm concerned, especially in retrospect. Like I said, what they put up with back then was just mind-boggling. And that hit you just showed on Churla, for those who didn't see it on the stream, like, it looked eerily similar to the one that knocked Sidney Crosby out for like a year and a half with that concussion. And I can't remember who that was in that outdoor game who just caught him leaving the zone with an elbow. And it wasn't as wanton, like, it wasn't as targeted as Bure's was. Like, Bure's was dirty as hell. The Crosby one sparked a national debate on whether or not it was intentional or not. But at the end of the day, it did get him on the bottom and cost him like a year and a half of his career. So we forget about that one.
I feel like it was Lars Eller that hit him, just clipped him. It was a harmless looking play, but I could be wrong.
It was a clip. The Bure one was calculated all the way down the ice. And then Shane Churla. Oof. There's another one like that too, where a star kind of took liberties into his own hands, or whatever you want to call it, and went after the guy and just dirtied him. But the Mark Messier elbow, that one will stand the test of time there. We might need two Mount Rushmores of dirty shots. Hey, the Calgary Flames, if the playoffs started today, I think the Flames would be in the postseason, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would. It looks like it's still 40 games to go, but looks like there's a good chance it might just come down to them and the Canucks right down to the stretch. And that would be a fascinating race, because one is an absolute gong show circus every day, and the other one is this feel-good story of found money. And to see those two battling down the stretch would be real interesting, because also don't forget, like, Vancouver's going to be a seller at the deadline. Brock Besser is gone. Like, there's already plenty of talk that Pettersson or Miller's got to go, one or the other. Like, it seems like a sinking ship, but they're neck and neck with the Flames, 1 point back. Flames are a feel-good story, man. Like, they've got great goaltending. They're one of the hardest working teams in the league. Their work ethic is right up there, and they can't score goals, yet they still manage to stay in this race. It's quite an incredible story.
Is the feeling there that they've weathered the storm?
Oh, man. I wouldn't say that. I think there's a big question here. The question is it sustainable? Like, can this team continue to stay in a playoff race when they're averaging, I think they're 27th in goals per game, and they have the worst penalty kill, or second worst penalty kill in the National Hockey League? Like, it's a bad combination. But, Dustin Wolf is kind of the beacon of hope for them. Like, you watch now, he's going to go on an extended run. Through, I think, 40 games, or 38 games through, they both played 19 starts. And but now they've made it very clear to me, talking to Craig Conroy and the coach, they want somebody to go on an 8 or 9 game run here, play 8 out of 9, and that's what Wolf's doing right now. He just played 4 in a row. They played back-to-back, so they put Vladar in last night, but same story. Vladar gets all the toughest starts, plays well, but they can't win with him because they can't score goals. Wolf, however, despite the lack of production offensively, can still get the job done. He's like 14, 6, and 2 or something. Like he's one of the most remarkable stories. Like I'd be interested to hear from you guys. Like, where do you put Wolf in the Calder Trophy conversation? Because I know we're halfway through and so much can change. But the numbers he's put up, like I think he's 7th in the league in goals against average. He's a rookie. Like, that does not happen in hockey. Goalies generally don't get much respect when it comes to the Calder Trophy race. But I'm telling you, like, he's definitely a finalist in my books, but where do you guys see him? Like, Lane Hutson's been great. Celebrini's the leader, I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
But did I hear today that Lane Hudson, sorry, Harry, that Lane Hudson is tracking above what Makar did in his rookie year?
I've heard some crazy numbers. I don't know where he's at right now, but about 15 games ago, I'd heard stuff like that. That the numbers, he's right. He's leading. He's got about 32 points, something like that as a defenseman. Only 3 goals, but man, he's an assist machine. Like he's having a hell of a year. And don't forget Matvei Michkov, which is kind of the one everybody in America knows. I don't know where you guys put. Where do you handicap it, guys?
I'll answer your Wolf question with a question. Basically, you just said that Vladar's gotten the bulk of the heavy start. So is his 14-6 record a little inflated then because of this quality of starts that he's gotten? And if so, how do you consider him in the Calder race if he's not facing the Carolinas, the Washingtons every night?
Like strength of schedule in NCAA.
Exactly.
Yeah, like he's had more home starts where the team is obviously way better. I mean, most teams are. He's played more playoff teams, but he's still faced, still places. He's made 21 starts. Like he's faced a steady diet of legitimate contenders all around the league, and I could go through the list of all the teams he's faced, and it's formidable. It's not like they can completely hide the guy when he plays half the starts. I don't know. That could come into play a little bit. And I'm certainly not going to sit here and tell you that he should win the Calder Trophy if the vote was today. But if the Calder Trophy vote was today, he has to be a finalist. He has to be in the top 3. And to me, the guy who wouldn't be in there is Michkov.
I agree.
Coach. Okay.
I agree.
All right.
I think Michkov's stock has gone down, and Celebrini is the sexy pick. How many guys would vote on that?
All of us. All of us in the
Writers Association.
All the PHWA. It's the whole group of us. I don't know, what are we? 300 people? I don't know. 250 people.
Eric Francis is joining us, NHL insider for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan. The text line's buzzing. We back our 1 ton in, so when we leave, we don't back over the elderly lady walking past. That's from Roscoe in Kindersley, always chiming me in. I knew someone was going to message in this one as far as cheap shots go. Bobby Clark on Harlamov. That one is, yeah. Who was? Yeah, that's a dirty. Those skates didn't have much for protection back then.
That also meets the definition of predatory.
Predatory, yeah. Like
that's definitely predatory.
We need to get this guy out of. And I've seen interviews with Bobby Clark since. We needed to get that guy out of the series. He was killing us. Oh, okay. So you just chop him down like a tree.
Yeah.
That's old school, man. That is old school. Done only by a guy like with 2 front teeth completely missing because he's been through the wars
from Flin Flon. They should have Harlamov's skate in the Hockey Hall of Fame in the display for the 72
with a dent in it.
It was just a leather boot. It was like wearing a Ukrainian boot if you were dancing. Sorry, Harry.
No, that's all good.
You want to go to
And
Washington?
don't forget, hey, in that same series, JP Parise, does anybody remember what he almost did? Like he was ready to do the Bobby Clark on a referee, but thank God for all people involved and basically our whole country. Thank God he didn't follow through on that swing. That would have been, if you followed through on a two-hander on a referee, we wouldn't be having this debate, boys. That would be the clear winner right there.
Number one.
I would have liked. It's too bad it wasn't a video game. We could go back and rewind and then see how everything would have changed if that would have went down.
Back to the Future style.
Man, they hate each other.
If I'm a Leafs fan, how pissed am I that Matthews is going to go play in the Four Nations?
I don't know if he is, guys. Like, I certainly don't think he should either. I'm with you. Forget about the fans. How about management who writes the checks, pays this guy amongst the top players in the league?
Yeah.
You're flying this guy to Germany and all over the place to get the best care possible. And then during his 2-week break, he's going to go play against the best players in the world. Like, he better prove conclusively between now and then that he's 100%. And I don't believe that's possible, given it's a back injury. So I'm with you. I think it's going to be a significant debate as we get up to it. I think people are already debating it in Toronto. And I'm on the side of, no way, Jose. You're not going. Besides, as a Canadian, I don't want him there. And the other thing is, they don't need him there. They're going to win that tournament without Austin Matthews. I hate to say it.
Who would be for it? Who would say, "Oh no, it's a great idea that he should go"? Like, I don't understand what the pro argument is.
Is it? I think you nailed it. Like, I think it's pretty safe to say the only person in the world who might think he should go would be him.
Yeah.
I guess his coach, his American coach and teammates all want him there. But other than that, outside of a handful of maybe 50 people, like, who thinks it's a good idea? Who? Nobody.
And I hate to stereotype the guy because I've never really been a huge Austin Matthews fan. But if he does go, and he is really the only guy who wants him to go, I think that just speaks huge volumes about where his head is at, what his leadership mentality is, and just speaks volumes about him.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far, like, to sewer him like that. Because he would, in his mind, he would have to be able to prove to himself in his heart of hearts that, no, this doesn't pose any extra risk, and it doesn't jeopardize the second half of the season for me, for the team that is paying me gobs and gobs of money so I can play this game. So, if he really believes that he can do it and get through it, or his patriotism is such that he wants to so badly be on that stage for the, basically the first time against all the best players in the world. I know he played in the last tournament, but
He has to know.
It's not a good look.
He has to know, though, if he goes and things don't work out back in the NHL, that is going to be the number one thing they're going to point out and say, he never should have went to the Four Nations Cup, and he shot the Leafs in the foot by going. And so why would he want to wear that? If he can just lay low, focus on getting his team to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and go from there, and put this exhibition aside.
It's a great point. He's putting a massive target literally on his back. And, if anything goes sideways during the tournament or after the tournament, everyone will point to that tournament and say, that was the reason why you never should have played. Like, who, even if he feels like he's 100%, who doesn't think that it's a good idea with about 25 games left in the season to take a 2-week break? Like, it makes all the sense in the world. Rest up and get ready for what matters most, which is the Stanley Cup playoff run for your team that's trying to get out of the first round. Like, I agree. I'm not convinced he's going to go. I don't think he's going to go. I think cooler heads, smarter people are going to talk to him and say, dude, these are all the reasons why, and you outlined most of them. These are all the reasons why there's no reason why you should be contemplating this.
I want to go to your trip to Los Angeles and just how unfortunate it was, how weird it was, game being canceled. Like, what did you see there? And I know it's kind of been a week now, and things have gotten worse in a lot of areas. What was it like there, Eric?
you know what, almost symbolic of exactly what's going on there. It all happened so fast. Like, I was in Anaheim on the first night when all this started, and literally, like, it was before the game. We were having the media meal, and there were a whole bunch of local photographers all crowded around a TV. They couldn't believe that they were bulldozing cars out of the way that were trying to get out of Pacific Palisades, and they were all really nice cars. And everyone had been told, look, it's such a bottleneck, and you're not going to get out of here. We need you to leave the keys on the car, get out, and we're going to bulldoze all these cars to the side so that the fire trucks can get up and start saving some of these houses. So that was the first sign of it. And then by the time I drove into into LA after the game, I got in at midnight. You could see a bit of the glow from the hills, and the smoke. You could smell all the way the whole drive. When I got up the next day, there were the pieces of ash that were like 1.5 inches wide. Like, I'd never seen that before. And that was 25 miles away. So that's how horrific the winds were. The smell of smoke was so bad, they were handing out masks when we got to crypto.com. And I felt all morning that they were eventually going to cancel this game. Nobody was really sure. Clearly, it was the right thing to do. Yeah. But the two lasting things for me, when I got to LA that first night, I was getting into an elevator and a guy had a bottle of wine. He goes, hey, you mind if I ride up with you? I go, oh, yeah, no problem. Like, you got wine, let's go have a party. And he goes, I'm pretty sure my house is burning to the ground right now. My wife and I are just watching in the room to see if we can see it happen. And he just wanted to go get a bottle of wine to kind of help with the pain. The look, I wanted to give him a hug. I'd never talked to someone who was just about to watch their house burn to the ground. And the next day when we woke up at the airport, at the hotel went from being half full to being completely full. And it was almost because of families that had been displaced, had lost their homes, or were about to lose their homes, or were worried about losing their homes. So in the lobby were just nothing but cats and dogs in their crates, and there were little kids crying, and it was awful. Like,
there was one story I heard where it put it in really, really like perspective was, you know, a dad. I got a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, and he's talking about the house, and there was something that the kid made for somebody that passed away, and it was like it was up on their wall, and just like you can't go and grab those sentimental pieces. Like, you look at the books behind you, and you would have you're a hoarder, so you would have more than, you know. I'm looking at things that I would like, what would I try and grab, you know? And it'd be so difficult. I think, guys, I don't know where we're going long here, but I don't know where you guys stand. I think one of the most amazing professions or skills in the entire world, firefighting is up there, is those water bomber guys that can go and skim and fill up those things and then go. Like, when you watch that happen, it just like that doesn't happen in real life, right? Like, how is this? Yeah. It's like
it's contrary. It's a feat of engineering, the fact that they can do that.
Yeah. It absolutely is incredible. And, you know, if anything good comes out of this from afar, it's, you know, like we've had the conversation a couple times, you know, if ever there was a fire that broke out, like, what would you grab here? Like, you know, I think it's an exercise. Not only should people know how they would exit their house or their apartment, you know, in case of a fire, but what would you potentially bring? And the story that resonated with me so much was Gary Hall Jr. I don't know if that name's mean anything to you, but he had won 7 gold medals as an Olympic swimmer. He's a pretty big name in the States. And he said he was 70 feet away from his medals. They weren't even in a safe. They were just in a closet. And so he wouldn't have to mess with the safer. And he just had to go in, get them 70 feet away. But the flames were on him so fast that all he could do was grab his dog and get out. He knew that he was leaving the medals behind, and he'd probably never see him again. But he literally couldn't go 70 feet because it got that hairy of a situation. I mean, he said, I worked my whole life for those medals. The memories will remain, but the souvenirs are long gone, incinerated. So sad, man.
There you go. If you're watching the stream, I don't know how these guys do this. Like, this
That's incredible.
It is amazing, for sure.
It's unreal. Okay, well, we went really long today. Appreciate it. And we'll figure out. People are still going to be chiming in on dirty hits and dirty plays and all that, but that's what it's all about. And I really appreciate that you still have the Blockbuster card in the background there.
You never know what's old is new again. You never know when rentals are going to be a thing again. So that's a platinum card. Platinum, boys.
Sometimes you do.
If that thing's 70 feet, do you go and get it?
Oh, good question. No, but next week we're going to talk about this. If you don't know what this is, we can do it.
Oh, don't get Harry started on this too. Oh, the three we went through this.
We did, but I ordered the new one because of our conversation. I'm so excited. You have to unperforate every card. Oh my God, I'm so excited. But I'll be grabbing that if there's a fire. That one right there. Automatic, baby.
NHL insider Eric Francis. Thanks so much. Oh God, it's always awesome. It's for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks. In Southie, Saskatchewan, 30 minutes north of Regina. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed. Save up to $19,000 off 2024 heavy duties right now. Plus, they got the 2024 Jeep Compasses starting at just $34,945. Southie Mainline Chrysler. Quick break time. You're watching The Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com.